Have you heard about Wiggle? Wiggle is the island's first female sexual wellness store, taking our pleasure, desires, and sexual health seriously. Founded by a wife and husband team who had a desire to deliver something better, Wiggle has one of the best selections of toys, lingerie, lubes, and other sexual wellness essentials you could wish for, from hand-picked brands like Bijou Indiscrets, Satisfyer, Lelo, and more. Visit www.wigglecy.com to learn more. Hello, I am Eleni and this is the Mamamoo podcast, a special little space online where we tend to focus on the voices and experiences of women and occasionally mix in the voices of men and people in general who have something worthwhile to say. This is a podcast where we relish hearing about the movers and shakers in our world. Today's guest is Kateryna Biloruska. I met Kateryna last month when she and her foundation organized a little camp called Future Empowered Minds for 14 to 16-year-old girls. And I was invited to speak to the girls, many of whom were from Ukraine and were experiencing and still are experiencing trauma, loss of identity, and loss of motivation. It was a morning I will never forget. Today with Kateryna, we talk about what we learned from the girls, but also about her foundation, what it's about, why it was created, what it has accomplished in regards to empowering youth. And we also learn about life in Ukraine. At the end of our chat, we have a little announcement to make, so stay tuned until the end. Now, on with Kateryna, on with the show. Kateryna, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
And to the podcast. I was honored and very happy that you guys contacted me so we can start working together. But I really want to go to the beginning with you. So first of all, why did you start this foundation?
Okay, that's a long story actually about the foundation. I had the huge experience in the iGaming business, like 12 years in the industry. And while I was working in that sphere, I was slowly moving through my career to the social corporate responsibility department, because that was something I was really interested in. And the company gave me a huge possibilities of doing and realizing my ideas. And actually we finished with the corporate foundation.
Okay.
After a while, some things with the business changed. I left the industry, but I decided I would like to continue doing what I was doing in the foundation. And I just took my team from the business, and we established a new one, which was called on my name, Kateryna Biloruska Foundation. But we decided to continue the mission we've got before in the corporate foundation. And it is as it started. Actually, the foundation is 6 years now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, first it was corporate, then it's almost 3 years, that's my private foundation.
Okay. And when you say mission, what was the mission?
Okay, we from the beginning we decided we would like to work with the future generation, so with the kids, and our main mission was to create a world, where every child have the access to education and to their development. Because first of all, for us was and still important that every child have the rights to develop and to educate. Back then, we were starting actually with the sport because we decided sports, it's a very good instrument with which you can develop the kids, because through the sport you can do a lot. Actually, that's good for the health, it's good for their leadership.
Discipline, looking after themselves.
And also it helps kids to be in the society. That's was also very important for us. And through the sport, you can communicate to the kids a lot, actually, about everything, because usually you do it through the play.
Yeah.
And back then, when we were just starting, we were working with the school-age kids, like from 6 to 16. That was our audience at that time, because we were thinking that's the age where you can give something and it will be absorbed, actually, because that's the very sensitive age. So what we were doing, we were working a lot with the kids with the disabilities, involving them into the sport, and in that way we were like giving them a chance to be in the society and to gain something through the sport, because for them that was really very important to that was their mission of the life, that were their aim, so that's important to give them something to be after. And also we were working with the kids from the low-income families to give them opportunities to go into the sport. We were supporting Olympians, the kids who was talented, but again, their families cannot afford to pay for all the trainings, equipment, and competitions, because it's always very expensive.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was talking about this with my kids yesterday, because we were driving by a group of kids who were just hanging out in the streets, and we were coming back from football practice, and I was thinking, obviously from a very privileged position, that not all parents are able to afford training sessions. Something so simple as football practice or basketball practice or volleyball or whatever it is. And oftentimes it's not just that they can't afford it, they don't have time to drive them to and from their activities. So you see a lot of kids hanging around in the streets, and you're thinking if they had the opportunity to get involved with sports, which I think the majority of them probably would want to, but they just can't because they're not able to.
Yes, that's true. And that was actually one of our mission as well, to give for the kids the alternative for the going around the streets,
Yeah. In Ukraine, are there or were there like football fields, public or basketball courts for kids to hang out in?
No, actually we don't have, in Ukraine we don't have much. No. In some districts, yes, but we were organizing the sections for the kids on football, basketball, floorball, and so on and so on. But we were mostly using the school facilities because each school have more or less normal football field or the place for the basketball, and you can just agree with them. So we will use it in the weekends or the after the school time, and it's how it works.
And they were willing to give their spaces to you guys. That's really good. Yes. I wanted to ask you about the education in Ukraine. Like, if you maybe could speak like a bit generally about what it's like. Would you say that kids get a good education, or is it big? Because I mean, in Cyprus, we complain often that it's very old-fashioned, archaic, not keeping up with the times. Is it similar in Ukraine?
I think it's like...
You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because like in every country, people telling that.
We all have the same problems.
Yes, like in Ukraine, I heard people saying that about the schools, and I was... study school in Ukraine as well. And I can say that it's not so good because, in my opinion, if I can, I'm going to change a lot in that educational system. and bring some good practice from, I don't know, from UK, from Germany, because they have really good practice. But I cannot say they have the ideal educational system, because, for example, for me, when I was moving to Cyprus like 3 years ago, and okay, my kids are small now, like 2 and 3 year old, but okay, now I'm starting to deal with the kindergarten system.
Oh, good luck.
And I also not so happy with this, because there is some things I don't like.
Yes.
But I think if I will be in Ukraine now, there will be the same.
It will be the same.
Because I always was thinking that it's not very good in terms of the kindergarten in Ukraine. And I was thinking, okay, maybe Cyprus will be better. But like, it's always, I mean, the educational system, it's something that have to be very agile, and it have to be changed like every year. It's have to adjust, because there is a different generation of kids who came.
Yes.
And the things are changing so quick. So sometimes I think that educational system is just not in time to adjust for the new generation and give them what they really need now.
Yeah. They're lacking. They're staying behind. I mean, you know, there are professions that will always remain the same. You know, whether it's law or medicine, even those like adapt somewhat a little bit. But yeah, we're entering a new way of living. We're entering modern times, and I do feel that the educational system is way behind.
Yes, I absolutely agree. That's why when we're talking about the sport, that's something that not changed so much, you know, because the principle is the same.
Yeah.
And you can use it instrument like always with each generation. I mean, okay, maybe that's the popular sports are changing, of course. But I mean, the physical activities and the physical educational lessons in the school, they remains the same, and it's still important. The only thing, for example, back in Ukraine, which we faced, that the physical educational lessons there is absolutely not popular. I don't know how it is in Cyprus school, actually, to tell the truth. I don't know.
Really?
But in Ukraine, it's like so unpopular, so the kids are not going there, or they prefer to going for some extra English lesson at the time they have the PE.
Yeah.
You know, and that was also something we were working on, because we understand we have to reload actually the system. And we were working with the physical educational teacher. We were trained them a lot. We were also in the partnership with the different sport associations. So they give them the equipment, they give them some manuals how to implement the new sports into the lessons, so to make it more attractive for the kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need to be able to tempt them. No, I think I would say in Cyprus, I don't know if our audience will correct me, but kids love PE in Cyprus. I think most of them feel that it's not a lesson. Like, it's our chance to do something else, to run around and do something else. I don't know. I would be interested in learning more about that. But I do know that we have a massive football culture in Cyprus.
Yeah, no, the football is the most popular sport in Cyprus.
It's like, when I was, because I'm looking into doing a podcast on the football culture in Cyprus, and I wanted to know how many kids were signed up to the grassroots section team. Apparently, we've got like 10,000 kids from like the ages of 4, 5, 6, all the way to like 10,000 kids that are signed up to do that. And that's just up to the age of 10, I think maybe like 12, and then they move on to something else. So you started the foundation, you were doing all these things, trying to change certain situations in regards to youth and education. And then did the war happen, or was something else that brought you over here?
So at that time, when we just started the foundation, we were working a lot in Ukraine with the Ukrainians and also in Cyprus because my company headquarters was already in Cyprus.
Okay.
So we were working two countries. And I was spending there a lot of time to do all that activities. When the war started in Ukraine, that was a period of some... when you don't know how to move on with your foundation because
everything's up in the air.
Yes,
and
because you can't, because the physical educational lessons is not the priority now for Ukraine. There is some other things, so that's why we with the team starting to doing a lot in terms of supporting the kids and the families with the kids who was moved from their homes to some other place due to the war. We were providing them some things they need, the humanitarian aids, and also we were support them in the terms of the psychology comfort, because that was a very important thing at that time, both for kids and for their parents, especially for the women's, because a lot of the women's were stayed just alone with the kids because their men, their husbands, they were already somewhere far from them, and so that was not easy for them. That's why we were training mostly the teachers from the schools, because that's the person who are in the communication with the daily communication with the kids. We were trained them together with the Israel Association of Trauma, because they have a great experience in that. We were trained them as the psychologists, so they can help the kids in their classroom and also talk to their parents if they need. So that's what we were doing for some time. Then we realized that maybe we are not needed anymore, because that's a huge amount of the foundations and the volunteers organization in Ukraine who is doing that now. So it's developed a lot during these 3 years. And that was a quite the period when we were just... thinking how we will move on. And for now, what we are doing, we are continue with the sport activities. But also we decided we would like to have this leadership program for the girls. That's something we think is also important in all times, as war or no war. I mean, that's something we have to do, because this is also about the education and about it's about motivation of the girls, because I think the world is really need a new female leaders, because they're different from the men, and there is a lot of things and a lot of spheres in which women can be even better. But we have to motivate them, really. So that's why it's how the FEM program was born. We decided
we're gonna talk about the FEM program, which is the camp that you did, and I got the opportunity to talk to some girls as well. But I just want to go back to the women and girls in Ukraine. What was life like for the women and girls in Ukraine before the war? Were there opportunities for them to enter into key positions, into leadership positions? Was empowering girls and women something that was part of Ukrainian culture?
I can't say was the part of the culture, but it was developing with the time, as it is developing everywhere, all around the world. I cannot say that in Ukraine it was some exceptional situation when the women were in a key position, like everywhere. There is a woman in a key position. There is, and still now, there is a woman who is the leaders in the politics. There is a woman who is leading the big companies, big businesses. There is the woman who is the entrepreneur. And we have a very good examples in Ukraine. So
the girls have something that represents them.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's
but
good.
I can't say that was on a very big scale. And it is everywhere.
It's like the same everywhere. Yeah.
Yes. So But now when the war started, I think maybe it has become even more visible because, okay, men went to the war.
Yeah.
And the woman is staying.
That's what I was going to ask you, because you said that earlier.
They have to take care of
Of
their
the kids,
families,
of the family,
kids,
of the, yeah.
and they have to work. They have to do something, and that's quite challenging.
Yeah.
And I think now it is, because, for example, now in Ukraine, you just, because I'm from Kiev.
Okay.
If you were looking for the driver in Kiev, you cannot find it, because usually the drivers, it's a man. Okay, we used to that taxi driver or someone else. So, and when you're looking now, you just can't find them. And now it has become that, okay, the woman also can be the drivers. And now it's like the normal stuff, because like 2-3 years ago, it was like, even for the women itself, it was like not so comfortable, because it's like men-like profession, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, we are driving our own car, but we will never go for the taxi.
Yeah, exactly.
service to work to the taxi service, you know.
Yeah.
So that's like an example.
So you're seeing women adapt basically to this new reality.
Of course, because they have no other chance, you know, how to live. And that's the women who stayed in Ukraine. And I think that is a category of the women who leave the Ukraine with the kids. And that's another challenge for them to adapt abroad, to adapt in other countries. Because somebody can tell that it's the easier way. They left, they are in the safe place, they have some support of the countries where they stay. But it is not like that, because I talked to a lot of the women here in Cyprus, in Germany, because I stayed there for some time, and it is actually not easy.
No.
I mean, you are alone there. You know nothing about the country. It's absolutely different from, the mentality is absolutely different from what you used to.
Yeah.
And you have kids, you have to adapt them, you have to find a job, you have to learn language, to go to the work, you have to do a lot of things to accommodate. I mean, so that's quite a challenge for the women. And I saw some of them, and I really think they're heroic women, especially the ones that have 2 or 3 kids. So... yeah, that's really not easy.
Yeah, well, you know, we have 2 and 3 kids, and we're okay where we are, and we complain. So I can't imagine what it would be like for someone who doesn't know the language, has to adapt, has to help her kids adapt in an ever-changing world.
Yes, but I can say that Ukrainian women, they're strong, really. I mean, that's the part of our mentality, I think. And because I saw a lot of, even here in Cyprus, I saw how the Ukrainian women, they support each other and how hard work they are, because they really work. I mean, any job is okay for them because they have to survive.
Yeah. Well, I just hope that they're not being taken advantage of, which is often the problem with women. Not only women, I suppose, and men as well. When they come to different countries, they tend to be taken advantage of. Okay, so let's go to the femme part of your journey. How did that come along?
Okay, as I told, I was thinking about how to change the strategy of the foundation. We keep the sport program as it is. We continue them in Ukraine and in Cyprus. But I was looking for something else I can do. And as I'm mother of 2 girls, I think that's the big reason for me as well.
That's where everything starts, with our kids, yeah.
Yes, and I actually, the person who was always feel myself very comfortable in the group of other women, you know, I was more open, I was like more enthusiastic, and I think that the power of the sisterhood is huge, actually.
It is.
Because when the women are together, they can like move the walls.
Yeah, it's so true, Kateryna. It's so true. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now because you do, when you spend time with a group of women, it's like you're on another planet. It's like you're in another world
Yes.
that exists. And yeah, enthusiasm. You get excited knowing that there is power in a little community of women and girls.
Yes, and I was always tend to work more with the women. So I'm from iGaming industry at all, and there is like man-like industry actually.
It's
and
male dominated, yeah.
almost all my colleagues, they were men. I mean, I have brilliant colleagues. I like them. I'm very thankful for them. But still, I was always feeling that I'm a little bit different,
Something's
And
missing.
Yes, and to create something, to be more open, to be more energetic, it's more comfortable when you have another women around you. And from that, I understand that if we will just make the girls, if we will create that community for them, the sisterhood, where they can just exchange their opinions, they can learn something together, they can create something together that can be really very good and very successful. So that's why that's actually from that this leadership program was born. As I told before that, okay, I think that there is not enough leader voices now in the world in some key position, like in the politics, in the business. And I think that we have help them to grow up and to be there. I mean, our FEM program, it is not about the education, because we are not school, we are not university. Okay, we are giving them some skills, but our primary aim is actually motivate.
Okay.
So the primary task is motivate them to create the community where they are comfortable, and motivate them to be self-confident, to help them to be self-confident, because from this it starts. Even if you will give them a lot of very good knowledge, like, public speaking, financial literacy, and so on, the project management and whatever, it is good, but if they are not self-confident, they cannot use it then.
Yeah.
So that's why the primary task is to work on their self-confidence, to help them to understand who they are in terms of their personality. I mean, not everybody is born leader, absolutely true, but I think it's very important in the early age, in the teenage, to understand what you can do and what you cannot do, to understand your strengths and understand your weakness, and work on your weakness and use your strength. Even if you are not going to be a political leader or the business leader or whatever, you can be just leader, I don't know, with your family.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can lead anything, whether it's just a community or, your parent, teacher, little group at school. But I was thinking about this question last night, and I wanted to ask you, what makes a good leader? What qualities or skills does someone have, thus you would call them a good leader?
I think that the good leader have to have the plenty of energy. That's the first
Sounds
thing.
like mums to me, yeah.
Because in every sphere, if you don't have this energy and enthusiasm to do something, you will never, lead other people to do that. You have to have it in yourself. Self-confidence, of course, because you have to know who you are, first of all, and then you can work with other people and lead them. So I think that's the primary things the leader have to have. And then it's a lot of some features the leaders have to have. They have to...
I was going to say, because when you think of the word leader, you never think about a woman. You always think about a man. Maybe because we've grown up with so many men
Yes,
who have taken on these leadership roles.
That's just the historically like this.
Well, and history told by men as well,
Yes.
because there were
Yes.
women. We just don't know about them.
Actually, that's the interesting topic for me now, because in the framework of the FEM program, we also now creating the online course.
Mm-hmm.
It will be for 3 months for the girls. And I preparing the introductory model where I want to talk with the girls on the matter of the women leadership through the history, because I think that's the important point when you have to start.
Yeah.
And to understand why the situation with the woman leadership is like that. Yeah,
non-existent. It basically doesn't exist.
And how it changed through the time. I mean, from the very ancient world to now, because there are women who were a lead, but we know not much about them.
Yeah, we normally know about royalty.
Yes,
and
yes. And what we know about even the royalty, we know because she was the wife of the king or the daughter of the king.
She was someone's. She belonged to someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's actually very interesting to see how it's changed, because also the leadership, like even 200 years ago, and now that's the different things. That's very different expectation.
Yeah.
So,
and often, we did talk about political leaders as well, but oftentimes, we talk a lot about putting women in key positions, having representation where it's needed, but oftentimes it should be on a more cultural level, on a more boots on the ground level. So people, kids, boys and girls, need to see more females in leadership positions within their communities, not necessarily high, powerful, rich, and famous. It could literally just be, a teacher at school, or it could be one of the mothers. But the thing is that they need to see more women having the confidence to lead.
Yeah, that's very important.
Rather than just having this idea of, when we say leadership, it means that you have to climb the highest career ladder or life ladder. No, it could be on a basic local level
like
as
on
well.
The casual life,
That's true. Exactly.
That's true. And I think it is even more important to have more leaders, women in the position like teachers, coaches, someone who is working with the kids, because they are absorbing the kids. And they took them as an example for themselves. They are not taking the Angela Merkel as an example. They're taking their coach, dancing coach, or their English teacher, or their mother.
Or their mother, their mothers, their grandmothers. Yes. It's also, I personally think that it's a brilliant way to get rid of the stereotypes as well. That, you think a woman needs man, woman cannot do something without man, man is the bossy, woman is not. So our kids, the younger generation, it's like when we say about stay-at-home mums and stay-at-home dads. Our kids now, this generation, they don't find it very peculiar and weird that there is a dad staying at home and a mum going out to work. But we need to normalize this more to get rid of those stereotypes and show that a woman can be the breadwinner and go out and make the money while the father looks after the kids.
I think nowadays we do not have that stereotype so strong as it was even 30 years ago. The only thing I saw that, yes, the thing is changing, and there is a woman who is the mother and who is the professional. But usually what I see in the families, even from my colleagues, what I see that, okay, she, for example, the woman, she has a good job, and she cannot stay on maternity for a very long time because she don't want to
How's she going to get back
lose it
in the race?
Yes, and she knows that even if the employer will give her more, she will just lose her, the feeling of the situation. Then it's very difficult to return into the team and into the process because the motherhood is something different.
Yeah, completely.
Absolutely. And what I usually see now that they just they just like have it all together. I mean,
it's exhausting.
And this is exhausted, yeah, because I know the women who is on their job just a week after they gave birth. So they have a kid back. And they work from home because they don't want to lose their job. And even if their husband can support her financially, she just don't want to lose her social position because that's so important for her.
It's the motherhood penalty, Kateryna. It literally is a penalty for us. We pay a lot when we decide to have kids and we have to get out of that race and then get back in. The point is, or I feel also that, we've gone over this a lot of times and on the podcast as well with other mothers and professionals that, kids during their first year need to be with their mothers for whatever reason it is. Statistics and research has shown that it's better. The point is that after that 1 year, that woman, she should be okay returning to her job, but not doing the double role, not doing the double shift. Like I often joke, and I think you do this as well. When I leave here, I say I'm going to do my second shift now, which is work with the kids. Running after them, getting there, feeding them, whatever else that needs to be done. We know everyone who has kids knows what needs to be done. The point is for the man, the husband, the partner to be able to step in and take over that role while the mother I don't know a better way to say this, acts like the man of the family, goes, does her job, comes back at 8:00 at night. The kids are fed, bathed, homework is done, afternoon activities. I mean, that option needs to be there for girls and women. Otherwise, as I saw with the camp as well and the girls that I met there, they won't want to have kids.
Yeah, that's something that I was really
Did it shock you?
Of, yes, because that's the interesting topic because I realized that like the 50% of the questions was actually about I don't want to get married because I think he will kill me or he will abuse me. That was like, why?
I don't know. I wasn't.
So
I mean, the fact that you're telling me, we haven't spoken with Kateryna since the camp, but what I said was that I'll come and talk to the girls, but I'd rather that they write some questions and I can answer them just to see where they are. And I mean, it was like we got like 50 questions and 30 or 40 of them were regarding motherhood and getting married and being in a relationship and how scared these girls were that they won't be able to choose the right partner, that partner might literally kill them, abuse them, that they don't think that they will be good mothers because either they have something else on their minds that they want to do and they don't think that they can depend on their partners. It's something that troubles them, obviously.
Yes, and this is the new generation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the future mothers and the wives. And that's actually, I was shocked about this.
Did you talk about it with them later? Or did they say anything?
No, we did not touch that ground,
okay.
Actually. Yes, because I understand that's something very sensitive and we have to see how to work with it. But the next camp, I think we will pay more attention for this part because I understand that's actually important to talk to them, not only on the professional stuff or leadership, but also to talk to them about their relationship with the boys, about their relationship in the families, because everything that come actually from their families, their perception of marriage and motherhood.
Exactly. That's the first example that you have.
Yes. So we have to talk about this and also about the motherhood, because it's scary when the girls in the teenage, they told, no, I don't want to have kids. And it's like almost all of them telling that.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember myself in this age, I would say, I don't know, maybe one day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Or-
I'm not ready now.
Or
but,
you would say no because you were so cool, and there were other things on your mind. But deep down, you were like, of course I'm going to have kids.
yeah, like one day.
Yeah,
yes.
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But these girls seem to know deep down that it sounds like something very scary and that's something that they can't or won't be able to deal with.
Yes, and that was like very good point we noticed during the camp, and I think we are going to talk next time on these topics as well, because it's important.
Yeah.
Because when we talk with the girls about the leadership, we don't mean that they have to be just the professionals, they have to be leaders, they have to run the business and so on and so on. Like, it's important to give them this understanding that both roles are important. And if you're just a mother and a housewife, that does not mean you are not realize yourself.
It's not just.
I mean,
It's a huge job.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, but always people.
People think it's nothing.
Think it's nothing.
Yeah, I remember when
you're not interesting to talk because you're just a housewife.
Yeah. I remember when I had my first baby and I decided to stop working. Both men and women would say to me, "Well, what are you going to do all day? I mean, won't you get bored? Like, what is your purpose in life now?" And meanwhile, raising a kid is one of the hardest jobs, and it's not just hard. You have to deal with something that you love with all your heart, that you would give your life for, but at the same time, it annoys you so much and it makes your life impossible and really, really hard.
Yeah, that's true.
So what else did you learn from the girls at the camp? And I would also like you to inform us on future plans that FEM has.
The future, actually, we have a huge plans. So we have this. That was just our first activities. The camp we had back in the March. What we're gonna do now? Now, as I told already, we prepare this online course, very in-deep knowledges for the girls. And we are going to gather 40 girls to start that course from September.
Okay, what ages are you looking for? Teenagers again. Okay.
Again, yes. So they will work on that course. Also, they will have to work on the project during these 3 months, and then we will choose the group of the best who finishes, who was doing all the tasks and make the project.
Okay.
That will be again international groups because there will be girls from Cyprus, Ukraine, and I think from other countries. Maybe we will have some minor girls from other countries.
Okay.
Now we're working on it because I think that cross-cultural interaction and communication is very important as well for them.
It's one of the best tools to fight racism and cultural differences as well.
Actually, just understand that we are different.
Exactly. Yes, bringing people together. Yeah. And I already at the camp, you did have Cypriots and Ukrainian girls.
Yes. Yeah, and it was very nice because there were first what I see first, yes, that there were groups Ukrainians and Cypriots.
Yeah.
But then they were interact and they were doing the task together. They were spend their free time together, and it was a very good result.
Wow.
And it was really interesting.
So you got
for
friendships out of the camp as well?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, because
amazing.
That's also our aim, to create this sisterhood. So we want them to communicate after the camp, of course. So returning to the online course. So we are going to have this online course. After, we will make another boot camp for the girls who were the best on the course. So we will prepare something for them. I think we will do that again in Cyprus.
Okay.
Because that's the great location actually for doing this.
Yeah.
After that, we are going to have another camp for the newcomers. I mean, the same we have last spring. And then engage them to the course. So we would like to have like this, like the cycle, you know, like the online course, boot camp, then we have camp, online course, and it's like this.
Okay.
And also we would like to create a community where we keep them interacted all the time, and we will propose them some educational opportunities. We will just give them some useful information about the schools, universities, because they are all up to go to the university, which is important for them.
Yeah.
So we'll give them different opportunities. And also we will select the group of girls which we would like to train as a mentors for our future camps. So we would like them, you know, to give them opportunity also to train their skills they have from the course and the camp.
Yeah.
And to feel themselves already as a leaders.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're putting them in a leadership position already as that. Yeah.
And we want to have this system when you learn something, then you learn next girl, you know. So we want them to participate then, after they make this cycle with us, to participate as a part of our team, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's the vision for now, how we see it.
Okay, excellent. If anyone wants to participate, they're listening to us now, how can they do that? How can they get in touch with you? I will put links in the show notes where I usually put the links, so you guys can find everything there, social media links as well. But if a mother or a girl is listening to you right now, how can they proceed to get in contact with you and take part?
The easiest way is through our website, because we have this button there that you can press and apply for the camp or for the course.
Okay.
And also through our social media, just text us there. And there is going to be now all the information about the online course, which starts in September. And when we will know the future date of the next camp, it will be on the social media and our website, and you can always apply. I mean, we are accepting almost all girls who is applying. The only criteria which is important for us, it's they have to speak English, because all the activities is in English.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I left this part for last, but I wanted to announce that we are, Kateryna and her foundation and the Mum podcast, we are planning a podcast series dedicated to development, leadership, and supporting youth. There will be tips for parents. So every month, I think, we might start that way. We will have a special guest on the show. The show which will be sponsored by the Kateryna Biloruska Foundation, targeting this, leadership, youth, parents, kids. Yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Hope that will be interesting and useful.
I think it will be. And I think it's something that is very much needed. We all need a bit of help. A little bit of help.
And motivation.
And motivation. That's the key word, motivation. So yeah, that's the big announcement that I wanted to make. Kateryna, thank you so much for coming on
Thank you for having me today.
On the show and the podcast. Thank you for inviting me to the camp. I really enjoyed meeting and interacting with the girls and learning more about, you know, the troubles that they have as teenage girls growing up in this world. It was eye-opening, and thank you so much for that experience. And I look forward to our work together.
Thank you.
Thank you.